what's up, and welcome back to my channel for another video. I feel like this is deja vu all over again. In today's video, we are gonna do a story time about my labor and delivery for my first child. So if you guys are interested in listening to that story, make sure to stick around. Again, if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. Also give this video a thumbs up. Remember guys, if I reach 1,000 subscribers, I am giving away some big prizes, so you don't want to miss out on that. So let's actually hop into the video. Alright guys, so pretty much I remember realizing I was pregnant. It was probably during Hurricane Sandy. I started to feel really sick the day after, and you know, at that moment I was like, yep, I'm pregnant. And so I ended up taking a test, and I took a couple more, and surprise, I'm pregnant. And it was really hard. I had to keep it a secret because I didn't want to tell anyone, especially my family. I was so scared to tell them. The only person who knew was my best friend Tiffany, my photographer, Caliber Photography, and my boyfriend, of course. So they were the only three people that I ever told. And then, you know, obviously I can't hide it forever because my belly's gonna start getting big, and then hi. So I actually told my mom, like literally on Thanksgiving. I was like, yeah mom, I'm pregnant. Oh, and I told my sister too. But pretty much like on Thanksgiving, I actually told my mom. I broke the news to her, and you know, she was okay with it. She didn't want to tell my dad. She actually told me to tell my dad. So I was like, okay. And I waited maybe a day, and then I sat down in the kitchen and I talked to my dad. And then I told him, I was like, yeah, Dad, I'm pregnant. And he just gave me the most disappointing look ever. Like, it's one of those looks that you never want your dad to give you, especially if you're like a daddy's girl. Like, that's the most heartbreaking look that I have ever gotten. And it really broke my heart because I felt like I disappointed him, you know, because it's not like I had a set career or anything like that. And you know, they never even met this guy, so you know, it was hard for them. But then, you know, eventually they were able to, you know, meet him. And you know, my dad always says he doesn't care who I end up with, you know, as long as the person makes me happy, that's all that matters to him. So you know, slowly but surely they, you know, met him, and my family freaking loves the hell out of this guy, so thumbs up for that. And his family loves me as well. They look at me as their daughter. So it's pretty cool. Like, I love that. Like, who wants to be in a relationship where either your partner's family doesn't like you or your family doesn't like your partner? That sucks. If you are in a relationship like that, you want to be able to bring everyone together and have a good time, not having to be like, well, let's bring so and so here on this day, and then we'll do another day for so and so. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't want that. I want us to be, you know, together. So, and our families actually get along well, so it's a good thing too. But pretty much, I had a really great pregnancy. I didn't feel sick. I only felt sick that one time to, I guess, to confirm that I was pregnant. And that was pretty much it. I didn't feel any morning sickness. I felt great. My blood pressure was always great. I, you know, was still eating and drinking everything that I wasn't supposed to. And I'm not talking about alcohol or anything. I'm talking about, you know, like extra salt on certain things, or, you know, like sugary stuff, because I love sweets. Like, I was able to indulge into that, especially like coffee, because, you know, they always tell you can only drink 1 cup of coffee. Now, screw that. I'll drink 2. But, you know, it was such a great pregnancy. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience. But then here comes the labor and delivery part. Once, like, my daughter actually came out late. I remember when I went to the doctor, he told me, he's like, yeah, you're already, I think I went on a Thursday or Friday to the doctor. And I told him, no, he told me that when he checked me, he's like, you're 2 centimeters dilated, and you're, I think he said I'm 99% thinned out. And I was like, awesome. So I get to go to the hospital? He's like, nope. You're going to have this baby, you know, your baby's going to have to come when it's ready to come. And I'm like, no. I just want to get it over with, you know, because at that point, it was already the end of June. And, you know, like, you don't want to be pregnant in the summer. It's like the worst because, one, you have this belly. And two, you get freaking hot. And three, you end up having cankles and all that stuff. So it's like, ugh, I couldn't stand it. Like, I felt with her, I felt like I was pregnant forever. Like, it just felt way too long. So I'm like, all right. But they did schedule me for an induction. I think it was the 26th they scheduled me. So my doctor gave me all my paperwork so that way, you know, on that day I can go to the hospital, have all my paperwork, and I'm good. So, you know, I go home and guess what I do? I try anything and everything to get this baby out. So I started running in my parents' backyard because I stayed with my parents at the time because the hospital was closer in where, you know, my parents live. And the thing is, my boyfriend works a lot, so it's not like he could just up and leave. Like, he has to make sure he has someone that can just come in and, you know, he can leave. So that's the only thing that sucked about it. So instead, I just lived, you know, I mean, not lived, I just stayed over at my parents' house. So, you know, and I just tried everything. I tried spicy foods. I tried this spicy ginger tea that my mom said it helped one of her friend's daughters, like, induce her labor. You know, I tried things. I tried it. The only thing I didn't try was sex, because they said if you have sex, it'll work. That's the one thing I didn't try, because he was too scared to have sex anyways, because he thought that he was going to hit the baby's head or something, so we didn't have sex. But anyways, so the weekend flew by, and it's like still no baby, and I'm like, geez, like, when is this child going to come? So it was June 25th. It was like 5 in the morning, and I woke up throwing up. Like, I just threw up. And I'm like, damn, like, what's wrong with me? So after that, I went back to sleep, and I didn't wake up till about 8-ish. And that's when I started feeling like a little bit of pain in my stomach. So I'm like, oh, you know, and my mom was outside. And I told her, I'm like, Mom, I think it's time, you know. So she's like, all right, I'm going to call your uncle, and then we're going to go. And I was like, all right, because my dad was, my mom doesn't drive, so my dad was at work. So she had to, like, you know, get my uncle. And like, I was like, oh, let me see if I can do my makeup and everything. That didn't work. I had to go there busted, in, like, busted ass clothes. So, you know, because I just couldn't take it anymore. At that point, I just could not take the pain anymore. So then finally, my uncle comes. I grab whatever stuff I needed, and we left. So I get to the hospital, and the lady, I tell her, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in labor. And she was like, are you sure? No, bitch, I just came here to say hello. Like, obviously, yeah, like, I'm in pain. So she freaking gets someone, and then the person sits me in a wheelchair, and then they go ahead and they take me to the labor and delivery area. So, so I go in the elevator, I go into the room, and then they tell me, like, oh yeah, you have to pee. And I'm like, okay. So I go, they gave me a pee cup, and I couldn't pee for my life. So, that didn't work. And they were like, don't worry, if you can't pee, we'll get it from you. I'm like, how? You know what I mean? So, you know, everything was smooth. Like, I got, you know, changed into the hospital gown. I kept calling him, because then at that point I was like, yeah, you know, this baby's coming. So he was waiting for someone to come to cover the shift. And then I guess he was waiting for his family to come, because mind you, they lived in South Jersey, so it takes at least an hour change just to get back, like, up here. So, you know, it was just smooth sailing. So I was, you know, I was feeling good. When the doctor checked me, he said I was 5 centimeters dilated and I was already 100% thinned out. So that was great news. So, you know, I was ready for my epidural. They had to check my paperwork and make sure that everything was good. So then, boom, I got my epidural. Because listen, when I got there, the minute I got there, I was like, epidural, please. And they were like, well, we have to look at your chart first. And I'm like, all right, but please. And then they finally gave it to me. I remember watching Jerry Springer's that day, and I'm just like, you know, relaxing. But it hurt, like the pain. I was like, my lips were like quivering from the pain. Then I started feeling cold. But then they finally came. They brought the epidural. But before they gave me the epidural, they actually put a catheter inside. No, they did it after. Never mind. They did it after the epidural. They ended up putting a catheter inside, and that thing hurts. So while I'm, you know, getting the epidural, I feel like liquid. So I'm like, oh my gosh, is my water breaking? But then I started thinking, am I peeing on myself? Because I didn't know at that point. So then finally the epidural kicked in. I didn't feel a thing. And I was just, you know, relaxing. And then my mom's like, breathe, breathe, go. I'm like, stop it. Like, leave me alone. Don't talk to me. And then I kept calling, you know, my boyfriend. I'm like, yeah, you gotta hurry up. So the doctor comes in with, I think, 2 or 3 medical students. And he pretty had one girl, you know, stick her hand in my hoo-ha. And, you know, to educate her to see how far, you know, the baby was. But when the doctor actually, because she stuck her hand in. And then, you know, after she did, the doctor ended up doing it too. And then when the doctor pulled his hand out, that's when, you know, shit got real. So while he pulled his hand out, that's when the liquid, you know, my water broke. And then he noticed that the liquid was a little brownish. So from there, he said, yeah, that's meconium. So everything was just getting hectic, because at that point, my daughter's heartbeat dropped. And they just couldn't, like, find it. Like, they were having trouble. So the doctor had to stick his hand right back in. And I can feel him. He's moving her head. And, like, you know, trying to get her to, like, you know. It's hard talking about it because it was just so hard. And, it's hard. And so he kept moving me back. Like, the nurse kept moving me back and forth. I had the other nurse, like, trying to find her heartbeat. So, you know, they kept trying, and then the doctor's like, get Dr. So-and-so into the OR right now. So I'm here, like, so freaked out, and they put oxygen on me. So after all that, they finally was able to get her heartbeat back. And then, you know, I was like relieved. I'm like, okay, her heartbeat's back. But then the nurse told me, because I felt like, okay, I'm okay. But then she said, no, you're getting a C-section. And that hurt, because I was like, no, because her dad hasn't even come yet. So it's like, I'm stuck by myself. And, you know, they didn't let my mom in. So they had to take me to the operating room. I'm so sorry. It's just so hard talking about it. So they pretty much took me to the operating room, and, you know, they tried to calm me down, because at that point I was like crying the way I'm crying right now. And so I get there, and you know, the anesthesiologist, he was really, really nice. And August just walks in. He was really nice, and, you know, he was telling me, you know, everything's gonna be okay. He was comforting me, and he was just telling me, you know, they're just gonna put this, you know, cover so you can't see anything. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden I started feeling like a pinch, and I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, I feel, you know, a pinch, like I can feel that. So he ended up giving me more, and August. He ended up giving me more, and at that point, I don't remember anything after that. Like, I don't remember, you know, anyone talking to me or anything like that. So all I remember was waking up, and I had these things on my legs to, like, you know, circulate my blood. I still had the IV and the oxygen on. And then I had a nurse sitting. She was sitting at a desk, like, you know, a little desk or whatever. And she was like right beside my bed. And, you know, she told me, she's like, go back to sleep. You just got out of the, you know, an operation and you just need to relax your body. So I'm like, okay. So I, you know, dozed off. My mom called everybody because after that point, my mom was just calling everybody. And I even gave her my phone. I was like, yeah, call him, you know, tell him what's going on. You know, if you don't get him, continue on, you know, calling him until he picks up. And then I remember I knocked out again. And then I woke up, and then that's when, let me just dry my tears a little bit. Let me grab my shirt. Because I feel like, oh, I'm like messing up my makeup. Which is okay because it's like nighttime anyway. So, pretty much, I remember waking up and I saw my boyfriend walk in. He was the only one that was allowed to see me. So he came in and he just wanted to make sure that I was okay. And, you know, he was telling me everybody's, you know, out there, like, I guess in like a waiting room. So he's like, you know, everybody's there and, you know, they're just waiting. He said he saw her and, you know, it was just great. And I remember when I saw him, he was, you could tell he was so nervous because he was like sweaty as hell. He looked like he just walked through sprinklers. It was just so freaking funny. And then like you know, my family came. Obviously it kind of sucked because I was so thirsty. Like I just wanted to drink so much water and they would not allow me to drink any water. So I didn't get to see her. They actually put her in a it's not even a tank, it's like this I'll have pictures of what she was in. I have pictures but she was in there for, you know, the duration since I was there. I mean, she came out probably a day before I was gonna be you know, released, because they actually wanted to release me before she was, but I was like, no, I'm not leaving my kid. Like I'll stay here. And when I met the director of, you know, the infant care and all that, he told me, because he asked me, he's like, did you hold your baby? And I said no. And he said, can you please tell the nurses to let you hold your baby? And I was like, okay, because I didn't get to see her till the next day. You know, she was still in there, so I was able to walk, and I was able to see her, and that was just so much to me. Just to see this little thing that I created, it was just so surreal, and it was just really great. You know, it was hard. Like, it's hard having a C-section because, you know, bending hurts, like walking hurts, like going to the bathroom, having to crutch down to get to the bath, like, you know, to use the bathroom, that hurts so bad. But, you know, it's like, I don't care because she came into this world, so it's like, it's all worth it. Doesn't matter if I got cut up or what, like, she was worth it. And you know, it was a good, like, because of her, like, you know, I lost blood from all that, so it's like, you know, it's crazy that I'm still here today. But it was tough. It was a tough thing. It was my first, you know, ever C-section. It was an emergency section, which sucked. But, you know, I'll do it all over again if I had to with her. And I did with August. I had to get another C-section. But his experience was way easier than my first. Because, you know, obviously your first, you don't know what's going on. So it's like, for the first, I think 8 hours, I couldn't eat or drink anything. And I was so thirsty. Like, let me tell you, I was freaking thirsty. And the minute that they said I could drink something, I tried and I threw all the water up. Like, my boyfriend, and I give him props because he held like this little bucket thing in my face. And he was like my dedicated nurse. Like, he spent the night with me at the hospital, and he spent every day that I was there, he spent with me. So it was, he's an awesome person for that. Yeah, and he even did all that while, you know, working. So he'll come home. He'll come to the hospital when he gets off, and then he'll just, you know, spend the night with me, which was really, really sweet of him. And, you know, that's it. That's my, you know, labor and delivery story. And if you guys are wondering, I was only in labor for literally, I would say, it really hit me for like maybe 2-3 hours, because she was born around 12. So it was fairly quick. So I wasn't, you know, in so much pain, because the minute I was in the hospital and then they gave me the epidural, so it didn't really take long before, you know, I didn't have any more labor pain, because contractions are a bitch. So guys, you know, I'm happy that you guys stuck around this video to hear my experience. And if you guys had any experiences like mine, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below, because it's something great that we can all learn from each other. Or if you're pregnant now and you have any questions, just make sure to leave it down in our comment area, because, you know, we're here to, you know, be there for everyone, for each other, and, you know, help one another out. So thanks for watching. Until our next video. Bye guys.